Welcome to Dodgers Dogs as part of the Dodgers Daily Network. Casey Porter here. So glad that you decided to tune in as we await Game 5 of one of the most anticipated World Series in the history of baseball. No doubt about that. That is not an exaggeration. Last night was a game that the Dodgers, it was kind of one of those wait and see exactly how they were going to figure out their pitching. I've said this a couple of times that, hey, obviously you want to win every game, but when you have a 3-0 lead and you have the thin amount of starting pitching the Dodgers have, there's different goals within a game. Dave even said that last night, that he was going to figure out which way to go with his pitching based on how the game was going. Obviously, goal number one is if you're in position to win, you put your foot on the jugular and you go for it right then and there, and you go for the sweep, and you do everything that you can to throw all of your high leverage arms, and you try to end the series there. That's obviously the best option. Option number two is kind of what happened last night with the Dodgers. Ben Kasparius, we'll get into his start. He got started last night, and then you throw in Daniel Hudson, who's kind of, in regular season, those guys that pitch some in the major leagues and then some in AAA, and they kind of go back and forth. You call those guys quad A guys. Well, he's kind of a quad A-team bullpen arm. Like, I think Michael Kopech definitely is on the A-team bullpen. If and when he's healthy, Evan Phillips is on the A-team bullpen. He's obviously not on the roster at the moment. And then obviously Blake Trinan is part of the A-team bullpen. Alex Vesia is part of that A-team bullpen. I think Daniel Hudson, Anthony Bonda are the two guys that are kind of those quad A-team guys. So you throw that quad A-team guy, the guy that you're not necessarily going to throw in the eighth inning of a one-run game trying to end the series. You throw that guy out there just to kind of see how the game is going to go, and then he gives up a grand slam. Of course, the grand slam, it wasn't a horrible pitch. I mean, you have the bases loaded. You throw Anthony Volpe a slider. You just try to spin one up there, just trying to use the aggressiveness against Volpe, and he just ambushed it. Give Anthony Volpe a lot of credit for that at bat. But the problem was, it's the dang walks. We have talked about the New York Yankees so many different times that they are a club that, as disciplined as the Dodgers are, the Yankees are even more disciplined. We saw that with Ben Kasparius. I was very proud of Ben. Ben did a great job being very aggressive, getting ahead in the count. He did a great job of getting counts to 0-2, 1-2, and then it seemed like once he got in counts to put hitters away, he then became a little bit more selective and a little bit more careful, and 0-2 counts, 1-2 counts, ended up being 3-2 counts, ended up being base hits, or ended up being walks, because I think instead of being aggressive like he was to get ahead in the count, he then was trying to not make a mistake with 2 strikes, and he allowed the Yankees hitters back into counts. So it wasn't like comfortable for Ben Kasparius. You weren't ever like, okay, he's dominating this game. But I'll tell you what, it was effective. No doubt about it. In a bullpen game where you're throwing a guy like Ben Kasparius with with absolutely no experience in the environment that he was in, you would take one run in 2 innings. So it wasn't efficient, but it was an absolute grind, and Ben Kasparius handed the lead over. That's the thing about what he did. After the Yankees scored that 1 run to cut it to the 2-1 lead, after the Dodgers had scored in the first inning, what Ben Kasparius did was he did a great job of bearing back down, flipping the ball in there just enough to keep a 2-1 lead. So after 2 innings, you got to think right there, if you're a Dodger, if you're Dave Manager, if you're a Dodgers fan, hey, that worked out just about as well as we could have possibly wanted to. We're handing the ball over away from Ben Kasparius with the lead. So if you continue to do that, obviously that's a really good thing. And that is because you started the game off again really well. Mookie Betts, I'll say this, he had the double down the right field line in the first inning, which was simply fantastic. But something to me looks off about his swing right now. I don't have his stats pulled up. I will get into some of the team stats here in a minute. I'm not looking at this from a results or a stats perspective. It just looks like he's swinging up. It looks like he's having a very difficult time even holding on to the bat on fastballs up in the zone. It feels like he's kind of inside outing everything. And because of that, he's blocking off the ball kind of to right field. Although he's had a couple of huge hits. We saw the blue base hit the other night for an RBI. We saw the double last night right in front of the FreddieFreeman home run. And what can you say about Freddie? Absolutely unbelievable. So you're thinking right there, there's your 2-0 lead. There is the jugular, right? That's where you go for the jugular. That was one way to look at it. But worst case scenario, getting back to my original point, worst case scenario is that you lose the game and then also throw all of your high leverage bullets. So the way that the Dodgers and specifically Dave Roberts played it last night, you've got the last game in New York tonight, you've got an off day, and then you have 2 games in a row. Every single bullpen arm, as long as it's just a 1-inning outing, from here on out can throw all 3 games. Every single bullpen pitcher you have can throw in every one of the 3 games remaining. So, no, you didn't win the game last night, but it was by far not the worst case scenario because, again, you saved every high leverage arm. I say every arm that you would want to use. You saved all of them for these last 3 games. I think Blake Trinan, I think Michael Kopech, I think Anthony Bonda, and I think Alex Vesia. I think all of those pitchers can pitch in all 3 of the remaining games that are left. And for that fact, you got to like the fact that the Dodgers didn't lose and also use their high leverage arms. Now, obviously, we would have rather have taken the win, but I'll tell you the thing about Daniel Hudson, and he's kind of done this in the playoffs too, is that his pitches outside the strike zone, the Yankees are so disciplined. I mean, look at some of those cutters and sliders or whatever, the breaking balls of Ben Kasperius that started out in the zone and the Yankees were taking them and they landed like 2 or 3 inches out of the zone. That's how disciplined they are. Well, Daniel Hudson's breaking pitches, the ones that he was throwing not for strikes, not even just breaking pitches, even the fastballs, they were not competitive pitches. And the Yankees are going to lay out pitches that are 2 or 3 inches off the plate. They're darn sure not going to even offer at those pitches that are yanked or they're way too low, and they're just not competitive in terms of challenging the strike zone. So those pitches that you throw to the Yankees, they're just waste pitches. They're just completely wasted pitches because they don't serve an effect. They don't serve an effect at all because the Yankees, as soon as they see it, they don't even think about swinging at it. And so really, yes, I mean, the grand slam to Volpe was very difficult because it put the Dodgers, I mean, what it did is it put the Yankees back in the series. I mean, it got the crowd going. It got Volpe going. It got the Yankees smiling again. It got Aaron Boone feeling good again. It just got the Yankees back on track in terms of that game. But to quote Norm Lee, who's in our chat right now, hey, actually I think it was Craig that said this the other day, momentum it only lasts as long as the next day's starting pitcher, which today is JackFlaherty for the Dodgers and Garrett Cole for the Yankees, and we will get into a little bit more of that here in just a minute, but I kind of want to finish up on my thoughts from yesterday's game. It was good to see Will Smith hit the home run. It was good to see, the Dodgers, after Will Smith's home run, generate another rally and score another run. And although Landon Knack was very good, he did exactly what he was supposed to do. 1 run in 4 innings. He stabilized the game. The 1 home run was disappointing because you had the 1-run lead. I felt like the Dodgers were going to win the game at that point. But I'll tell you what Landon Knack really, really did is that he at least made the Yankees have to use all of their high leverage arms. I know Mark Leiter Jr. was not really good after the trade from the Cubs, but he has been one of their better relievers in the postseason. So I think I consider him definitely a high leverage arm for them at this point. Clay Holmes, no doubt about it. He definitely is a high leverage arm for the Yankees. And so, yeah, no doubt about it that Knack actually definitely made them and their closer. I'm having a brain cramp right now by myself, and I've had to do about 7 different shows today. So the closer for, somebody help me out there in the chat. The closer for the Yankees, they had to use him. Luke Weaver, I'm sorry. Yeah, they had to use him. Now, the disappointing part of the Brent Honeywell, really the worst part of it definitely was the Brent Honeywell deal. Not that he just had to throw 50 pitches. It was more so that it was still a 2-run game. So Luke Weaver was going to have to throw the 9th inning. And he was going to have to throw, which meant it was going to be his 2nd inning. Now, he did have to throw 1, but that doesn't matter because now he can throw again tonight. So if Brent Honeywell goes out there and puts up a 0, Luke Weaver has to come out for that next inning, and he is not available for tonight's game. So although the Yankees did have to use all their high leverage arms, I think they are all available tonight. But the advantage to that is that it's just more exposure that the Dodgers have to these guys. The more that you see of an opposing pitcher, that's another reason why we said the starters for the Dodgers needed to go longer in this series, was because you just don't want Blake Trinan to have to face Juan Soto 8 times in this series, because by then Juan Soto's getting a beat on him, and the more that a hitter gets to see a pitcher throw it to home plate, the more the advantage shifts towards the pitcher. So the most amount that you can limit the exposure of the Dodgers bullpen to these Yankees hitters, the better. So that was the biggest part of what Landon Knack did. Obviously, it put you in a situation to where you definitely had a chance to win the game. That's number one. But it also put you in a situation to where, in not winning the game, what Landon did was he forced the Yankees to have to use all their high leverage arms. And I was very proud of Ben. I was very proud of Landon. I was very proud of, I know he gave up a lot of hard contact. I mean, I'm not going to sugarcoat it or sit here and try to blow smoke. I mean, the Yankees hit some hard balls, and there was some great fortune. Hey, that 106-mile-an-hour ground ball to Gavin Lux could have been 3 feet one way or the other, and it could have been a base hit instead of a double play, right? I thought he did a great job of bearing down in the 5th inning after issuing, after you had the first 2 guys get on, after he walked the second guy of the inning, and after the error by the Dodgers. Did a great job of throwing enough strikes with his breaking ball. His slider and fastball got hit pretty hard last night. Did a great job of doing just what he needed to stay away from the crooked number, and because of that, the Dodgers definitely had a chance to win. And because they had a chance to win, because they kept it close, the Yankees had to use all of their high leverage arms. So the Dodgers offense, I'm not going to lie, I'm worried about it, okay? I'm worried about Shohei Ohtani. I'm worried about Mookie Betts. FreddieFreeman has been epic. But what if FreddieFreeman stops being epic? What is the Dodgers offense at this point, right? That's kind of my question. Let's hope he doesn't. Let's hope he hits a home run for, what is it, the 5th game in a row? Let's hope he does that again. But can you really realistically expect Freddie to continue like this? Maybe, because he is a Hall of Famer. And sometimes Hall of Famers just go off and they don't stop until you cross the finish line. So maybe that will be Freddie. He'll continue to do this until the Dodgers cross the finish line. But I'm not going to lie, I'm worried about Mookie Betts' swing. It doesn't look right to me. Definitely worried about Shohei Ohtani. Max Muncy's not hitting. Will Smith hit a home run last night, but he hasn't looked good for a long time offensively. Teo, to me, he's had some very non-competitive at-bats. He's looked off. Now he's had a couple of nice games as well. And we definitely know that Teo Hernandez can go off at any time. I think we would all have to agree that Tommy Edman has absolutely overachieved offensively for this Dodgers team. At any moment, this game of baseball is very difficult. What happens if Tommy Edman does? Let me ask you this. If Tommy Edman doesn't massively overachieve offensively in the playoffs, something that no Dodgers fan, even the front office who's wanted Tommy Edman for so long, nobody predicted Tommy Edman to overachieve. The dude had not even taken an at-bat until like July, right? And then he hadn't taken a major league at-bat until he got over to the Dodgers. So there's no way anybody could have ever went and got Tommy Edman on the basis of, we think he's going to be an MVP level type hitter in the postseason. There's no way anybody could have predicted that or made any decisions based off of that. So what if Tommy Edman doesn't overachieve like he has? What if FreddieFreeman doesn't hit all the home runs in consecutive games? What is the Dodgers offense at that point? That's what concerns me, because the Yankees could put up 4, 5, 6 spots and these games could start clicking off. Of course, I'm being a super fan here, worrying about all these types of deals instead of showing confidence like a manager would or like players would. I'm just going over all the different scenarios that worry me. And so that's just kind of what I'm doing. You're probably trying to get all of it out of my system before the game starts here in just a little bit. But the Dodgers offense, 239 for the postseason. The slug has been good. What saved them is the slug combined by putting the ball in play. So the Dodgers, yes, they've only hit. So what's the good part of this? They're only hitting 239. The good part is they have hit way more home runs than any other team in the postseason. And that has been a huge factor in them winning. Yes, so the slug at OPS 774 with, I think it's 27 home runs now in the postseason. But it's also come not at a bust cost. You know, I've bitched and moaned plenty in the past about this Dodgers offense being too boom and bust. Well, they've been boom without the bust. So check this on. Try this on for size. The Dodgers in the postseason have 5 more hits, 119 hits. So they have 5 more hits in the postseason than they do strikeouts. They have 119 hits in the postseason. They have 114 strikeouts. That right there, that formula, the boom plus the contact-oriented approach at the plate is why the Dodgers are scoring enough runs to win games, okay? And so if there's coaches out there, hitting instructors, whoever it may be, it's amazing to me that for 500 years in the game of baseball, not 500, I'm exaggerating, however long there has been hitting coaches, baseball managers, you name it, there's been a saying about home runs. Home runs should be a mistake. You should just be trying to hit a line drive, hit the ball as hard as you can. First of all, you should just be concentrating on putting the ball in play, right? Just put the ball in play. And then as you put the ball in play, your goal should be to hit a line drive. If that line drive happens to get up in the air and end up as a home run, great. But your goal is to A, put the ball in play, B, hit line drives. And it's amazing to me that when you start putting the ball in play more, like the Dodgers have, again, 119 hits, 114 strikeouts, more hits than they have strikeouts. It's amazing to me when you have that approach, you also hit home runs because you're hitting line drives that turn into home runs. So the slug has been there, but it hasn't been at the expense of also striking out like we've seen the Yankees do at an epic clip. That's been the difference. The Dodgers have hit home runs, but so have the Yankees. The Dodgers have not struck out, so they have executed and won all of the margins on the offensive side of the ball over the Yankees. It's been the margins that have beaten the Yankees for the Dodgers. It was the margins that beat the Mets. It was the margins that got the Dodgers past the Padres. Now, you have 3 more games to put one good offensive game together. I say, what happens if Tommy Edman doesn't overachieve? What happens if Freddie stops being epic? You throw one good game together. Max Muncy has a 2-home run game and has 4 RBIs. Teo Hernandez figures it out. Kike Hernandez also has another huge hit. Shohei Ohtani has another great game. There's plenty of guys in this Dodgers lineup that could end up turning. Will Smith finally figures out and gets 3 or 4 hits in a game like we've seen him do. There is plenty of room for improvement to see that within the next 3 games, 4 games total in a row, that beyond Freddie and Tommy Edman, the Dodgers could put together a great offensive game, pitch the ball good enough to where they can get past this finish line. Not a guarantee. Yankees are a great team. Yankees are a team that feel like the 2004 Boston Red Sox did right now in the National League Divisional Series. Just let us win this first game. They did that last night. they're hanging their hat on that. They have one more game in New York tonight. And so it's going to be a huge game. I thank everybody for tuning in to Dodgers Dawgs as part of the Dodgers Daily Network. And we already have a super chat from Roy Song. Roy is an absolute all-star. I want to thank Roy, you so much for all of your wonderful contributions to Dodgers Dawgs throughout this postseason. Hi, Casey. $9.99 super chat from Roy Song. Flaherty prediction. You were on the Buehler out. You were right on with the Buehler outing. A little concerned because I don't think Jack has had 12 consecutive strong outings, and now possible hamstring issue. Yes, I mean, it's going to come down to whether JackFlaherty can throw his breaking ball for a strike, which I think he can. And it's going to come down to whether he can calm his nerves and his emotions well enough to do so. So I've had this question asked a lot in the last 24 hours. Not 24 hours, but since the game started last night. Why did the Dodgers start Ben Kasparius? Well, it's very simple. To beat this Yankees lineup, you need to be able to spin the ball, and you need to be able to do it in the strike zone. So you need to be able to throw your breaking ball like Daniel Hudson was trying to do last night against Anthony Volpe. You need to be able to throw it for a strike without it getting ambushed. Ben Kasparius can do that. We saw that. I mean, he threw several breaking pitches that weren't even his best breaking pitches that the Yankees just didn't hit. And then also, your breaking ball needs to be good enough to where even as disciplined as the Yankees are, they can't tell whether it's going to be a strike or not. And because you're filling up the strike zone, they have to chase it. You have to be able to do that. And then you have to be able to, like we saw Ben Kasparius last night, we saw the foul ball up and in on Giancarlo-Stanton. You got to be able to come up and in with the fastball and back him off the plate. JackFlaherty can do all of those things. And he can do all of those things over and over and over and over. So from a matchup perspective, I think JackFlaherty is well equipped to go out there and have a great game against the Yankees. Here's what makes it very difficult to predict anything about JackFlaherty. That is that, yes, he's capable, but sometimes his execution is not something that's predictable. So, I mean, I would like to predict that JackFlaherty is going to go out there and execute. Really, I know this sounds like a cop-out, but the best thing I can say is his arsenal, his style is well equipped to get the Yankees out. It's going to come down to whether he actually can execute or not. I think he will. I think it's going to be a fairly neutral outing. I think it's probably going to be about 5 innings, 2 or 3 runs, somewhere in there. That's probably where I would go with that. Let's hope it's better than that. Let's hope it's not worse. And let's hope the Dodgers can string together some runs early on, get the lead where Dave can go for the jugular and start counting outs, because we've seen the formula for the Dodgers is to get a lead, keep the lead, get the ball to your bullpen, start counting outs. That's how the Dodgers have won. Gregory, our wonderful moderator in the house. I feel Will Smith is on the verge of exploding with the bat. I certainly hope so. If you have not had a chance, I don't normally do this, but go to my Twitter, the Dodgers Daily Twitter, Dodgers Daily Facebook, Instagram, whichever one that you frequent the most as far as social media goes. Check out my latest tweet on Will Smith. It's an appreciation tweet, and I think all Dodgers fans need to show him appreciation. He has not been hitting, not going to sugarcoat that, but he has been catching every game. He's been catching bullpen games. He's been catching games that the Dodgers have pitched extremely well, and a lot of that is because Will Smith has been absolutely awesome handling the pitching staff. And so it's refreshing to see that even from the catcher's position nowadays, in today's advanced analytics where we want offense first, that from the catcher's position, it can still be a position to where defense can matter more than the offense, which it has in this postseason. Now, Gregory, if Will Smith breaks out with the bat, if one of the three, Will Smith, Teo, or Max break out with the bat, hopefully 2 of them, but if just one of them do, that gets the Dodgers to about 4 or 5 runs a game, right? If 2 of those 3 come through, that gets you up to about 8 or 9. If none of them break out, then you're probably looking at 2 or 3 runs. That's what I've always said about this offense. So let's definitely hope that Will Smith breaks out with the bat. NorCal Eddie, whoop, whoop. Pumped to finish the series and celebrate. Dodgers are in prime position to close it out. Got to do it. Yankees are still good. It's kind of like the 25th, 26th, and 27th outs are very hard to get, those last 3 outs. This last win will be the hardest one for the Dodgers to get. Usually it is. Sometimes it is. Doesn't always have to be. Let's hope it's not. Let's hope the Dodgers go out there and put just a fantastic game together. You have 3 more chances to put together an A game, and if you put together one A game, the Yankees will not beat this Dodgers team. That's all you need. Hey, O'Donnell boy, does knowing you're punting a game affect your play on the field? And in the box, our boys were sloppy yesterday. That's a good question. I don't think anybody viewed that as punting. I don't think anybody sees Daniel Hudson as punting. And I'll also say this, Landon Knack turned the ball over down just 2. So there was absolutely no punting as far as that goes. And then also, Brent Honeywell has been very good. I did not expect Brent Honeywell to go out there and give up 5 runs and have to throw 50 pitches. And I don't think anybody on the Dodgers team thought that he would give up 5 runs. So I don't think anybody saw what yesterday was as a punt whatsoever because, first of all, the Dodgers got the lead. They had the lead when they turned the ball over to Daniel Hudson. Okay, then Daniel Hudson gives up the grand slam. You're down 2. Then Will Smith hits the home run. Then you score the run after Will Smith. That brought you back to within 1, right? So you're down 1 going into the 6th or 7th inning there. You're only down 2 whenever you're going into the 8th inning. It would have been the 8th inning. The Dodgers batted in the 8th inning down just 2 runs. So there's no punt to that in terms of any of those situations because, hell, we saw in game 1, the Dodgers scored 4 in the bottom of the 9th, right? So I don't think that anybody – I understand what you're saying, but I don't think they viewed it as a punt. Mike Boyer, good evening. Go Dodgers. One more win till we have our victory parade. Yes, and I just pray to God the Dodgers can put one good game together. No doubt, Donnie Boy, I hope Jack is ready to deal today as well. Ryan R., we need Max and Shohei, man. No doubt. No doubt. I'm tired of watching. It's been 4 games in the World Series, and they haven't showed up. No need for home runs. Just get on base. I'll say this about Shohei. Max has yet to impress me with a single at-bat in the postseason. His boom or bust style drives me insane. I think anybody who follows Dodgers Dawgs knows that about me. I think Max Muncy has a lot of dog in him. I do think that his offensive game over a long period of time is very effective because it drives in runs, that kind of thing. But the swing and miss drives me nuts in the playoffs. I like what I talked about earlier, the contact-oriented aspect of what the Dodgers have done with more hits than they have strikeouts. That has not been Max Muncy, so that drives me insane there. But I will say this about Shohei Ohtani. That second at-bat that he took last night, the one that he hit the fly ball to left center, that one looked like he was getting on track to me because he let the ball get deeper. He stayed on it. I think one of the big issues, Coach Holt has mentioned this several times, he's been pulling off the ball. I mean, it's like you see his head go, you see his front shoulder go, and it's like there's no way you can hit a breaking ball, right? That one right there to left center looked like to me he stayed on it, looked like he let the ball get deeper. So I was excited about that at bat. We'll see if he can capitalize on that and see how he does tonight. But yes, no doubt, Shohei Ohtani really needs to get going because, again, FreddieFreeman might not continue to be epic. So one of the other 3 Hall of Famers at the top really need to get hot in case he doesn't. Hey, normally I believe the Dodgers were playing like they were anxious to celebrate. Instead of trying to win a game, it showed in so many undisciplined at-bats of swinging out of the zone, that stinking changeup. That is so out of character for the Dodgers. Coach Barikoff texted me today. He said the Dodgers keep swinging at the changeup. And he's exactly right. That's not something that they normally do, but it is something that they did do last night. So, hey, Mike Boyer, Jack B. Nibble, Jack pitch quick. Dodgers whack the ball with a big stick. I love that. Hey, history man, go Dodgers. Dave S. Hope Freddie hits another one. To the people tonight, yes, that was crazy what happened to Mookie Betts last night. I'm not going to get into it, but what a jackass those 2 guys are. I mean, that's a joke. And for ESPN to even give light to those guys, my Dodgers dogs are ready for their walk in the background. They'll have to hold on for a minute because we have Game 5 to talk about, and we'll get them walked here in a minute. But jackasses, if I was the commissioner, that jackass that pulled on Mookie Betts' hand would never be at a Major League Baseball game ever again. Ever again. That's how. Hey, Barn, come here. Ever again. That's how I view that. Hey, Dave S. was hoping Jeter could throw the first pitch again. Yep. Mike Boyer, no matter what the Yankees do, the Dodgers bats have to show up. That's exactly right. Dodgers need to come up with one A game offensively and then just pitch good enough in the next 3 to win one of these 3 games. Nando, if Flaherty doesn't have it, then Roberts needs to take him out. Yep. Quick hook. Hey, Gregory, what's up? To yourself, Neil Cosimoto, Roberts should have pulled Hudson after he loaded the bases. No chance that I'm bringing in Landon Knack. I understand what you're saying, Neil Cosimoto. No chance that he's bringing Landon Knack in with the bases loaded in that situation. A young man who's never been in that situation, he is not going to pull a guy with the amount of veteran experience of Daniel Hudson for a rookie to come in there. I don't think any manager, period. Now, if you want to make the case that he should have had Blake Trinan or somebody else up, come here, Barn, somebody else up instead of a rookie, then maybe we could have a discussion about that. But to say bring in a rookie with the bases loaded with Anthony Volpe up with a 1-run lead in that situation, no chance that I don't think any manager would do that. And then, to be honest with you, Daniel Hudson didn't throw it. I mean, it was kind of a cement mixer, but he did flip in a slider, first pitch. So it's not like, it was just a terrible fastball that he threw. So a lot of that was just give Anthony Volpe credit. And then the problem was Daniel Hudson had been so erratic to that point. So my comment to that would have been, if you're thinking about taking Daniel Hudson out, take him out before the bases got loaded, as soon as you saw that he didn't have it. And then that also goes to show you, hey, bullpen games have been great, but you saw how dangerous they can be. If one guy comes out and isn't on his game, it can screw the whole game up for you, like it did last night. Now, we're never going to say that one guy won or lost a game. Daniel Hudson did not lose that game for the Dodgers. There was plenty of sloppy play. Gavin Lux gets doubled up. You have the error on defense. You had scoring opportunities you didn't take advantage of. So you can't say that was on just one person in Daniel Hudson, but you can say that grand slam definitely hurt the causes of the Dodgers. And so if anything, if you had that quick of a hook, I would have taken him out before when I saw he was just so erratic. But again, he damn near got out of it. And if Volpe would have been an eighth of an inch underneath that and flew out to it, we would have been telling a different story, but he didn't. And so now we are in Game 5. Dave S., it would be 6. Casey has done it in 5 straight. Yep. Hey, Roy Song says, spot on, Nando. Thank you, Roy. Hey, Nando, sorry, 2 consecutive outings for my question. Yeah, we answered that earlier. Roy Song, you are a rock star. Thank you so much for your great support. Tony Forkush, hi, Casey, trying to stay positive and rational, but it's hard not to how do you say that word? Catastrophize because of the Dodgers past. Yeah, that would be an epic collapse to lose 4 in a row. Tony Forkus of the Yankees force at Game 6. They will be the first team in history of the World Series down 0-3 to do so. But then again, it'll be going back to Dodger Stadium, and I think the Dodgers still would be favored because the Yankees would have to win 2 games at Dodger Stadium without Garrett Cole, and one of them is against Yoshinobu Yamamoto, the other against Walker Buehler. Even if the Dodgers lose tonight, the Dodgers are still heavy favorites to win this World Series. So I'm with you there, Tony. I want to close this thing out as soon as we possibly can. But again, I do think the way that last night went, I think it wasn't the worst case scenario because you have all your high leverage arms remaining. Flaherty just needs to go out and give you a good outing. Doesn't have to be perfect. Dodgers need to play good offense. They need to do a better job against that high fastball of Garrett Cole. They need to do a better job against the changeup, and they need to score 2 or 3 runs on him. Hey, David Razor, this is going 6 or 7. History man, Dodgers will find a way to win tonight. I like the way you're thinking, History man. Tony Forkush or win for Fernando on his birthday. That would be sweet. I'm grateful the Dodgers are professionals and can shut down that noise because as fans, I can't. Yeah, no doubt. You'd be surprised how easy it is as a player to shut it. Sometimes you get on the road and it galvanizes you and it gives you that us against the world mentality. It's pretty fun when you get into that brotherhood like that. Hey, Donnie boy, this World Series has been full of moments I've never seen before. Wonder what's next, no doubt. Hey, Dodgers Daily from Bruce Davis. Everyone, good morning. Hey, all right. Thank you so much for joining. Strict Hydra with 9105. MLB wants a Dodgers win in LA. Yeah, that would be good theater. They want it to go. The Major League Baseball wants it to go as long as they possibly can. I'm sure about that. Hey, Daytron, we want Fat Joe back. Yeah, History man, unless the umpires are trying to go on an early vacation, that would be great. Umpiring has not been good. I'm not going to sit here and concentrate on it a whole lot, but it's amazing to me how bad the home plate umpiring has been. Hey, don't even look for fair calls. I'm just going to wear pinstripes tonight, Mr. Classic. Yep. Hey, History man, if the offense can get going, the pitching umpires, whatever, won't matter. It's exactly how it's called worry about what you can control. Only worry about the aspects of the game that you can control. Daytron, I want to see 20R making history tonight. It's time for Dodgers baseball, says Gregory. Neil Cosimoto, he should have brought in Vesia, who only threw to one batter the night before. Hudson had no command. Vesia wasn't the next guy in line, so he had Landon Knack up. So if you want to have the discussion about it should have been Vesia, Vesia has been awesome in the fireman role. I'll say this though, if you do that, do you have Alex Vesia as available for tonight's game? That would be the trade-off there. So Daytron, this season Dodger lineup been making history, starting with Shohei and the Smith and Freeman and Eben. Now they all combine and make for a 20-run game. I like the way you're thinking, Daytron. That would be awesome if that happened. Just make it a very simple game like you did the last game against the Mets, and let's get on with it. Hey, Rand Matendo 77. Who cares about history? Just win tonight. No doubt, History man. Only 3 other World Series have had a team with the first 3 games lose game 4 and then win game 5. That would be 1910, 37, and 70. And let's hope that doesn't happen tonight. Hey, Colossal Jaguar, momentum is tomorrow's starting pitcher. That comes from Earl Weaver. I totally agree with that. The only one in major leagues that may not want to go back to L.A. is Rob Manfred. Yeah, History man. And the last comment of our pregame is Bruce Davis. Hi, Dodgers Daily. Thank you for your great content. I thank all you wonderful Dodgers dogs. It is a wonderful honor to get to speak with all of you each and every day on these pre- and post-game shows. It won't be just me on the post-game, probably Coach, maybe Austin. We'll see if it's too late for him. But we will have a great post-game win, lose, or draw. Sorry wasn't able to get on last night. I had my real job duties last night got in the way of that, so I didn't even get to see the game. I got to listen to it on the way back in a bus, and so didn't have a pre or post game last night. Sorry about that, but we will have a post game tonight. We will have a post game for pre and post game for every game from here on out. So, hey, Dodgers one more win away. Huge game tonight, Game 5. It is JackFlaherty against Garrett Cole. Dodgers one win away from having a World Series parade.